Welcome back to another episode of our podcast. Today, we're diving into a crucial skill for anyone learning English: how to make small talk. Small talk is essential for building relationships, making new friends, and feeling comfortable in social situations. In this episode, we'll share practical tips and examples to help you improve your small talk skills.
That's right, Jennifer. Small talk is more than just casual conversation. It helps us connect with others and navigate social environments. By listening to this podcast, you'll learn phrases and strategies that will boost your confidence in everyday conversations. Plus, as we discuss these tips, you'll be practicing your listening and comprehension skills. Let's get started. So, Jennifer, let's begin with the basics. What exactly is small talk?
Great question, Daniel. Small talk refers to light, informal conversations that often happen in social settings. It usually involves easy topics that everyone can relate to, like the weather, weekend plans, or recent events.
Exactly. It's important to remember that small talk isn't about deep discussions. It's about making connections and keeping the conversation flowing. For example, you might say, "It's a beautiful day today, isn't it?" to start a conversation.
Yes, that's a perfect example. And small talk can happen anywhere at work, at social gatherings, or even while waiting in line. The more comfortable you become with these types of conversations, the easier it will be to engage with others. Now that we understand small talk, let's talk about how to start a conversation. What tips do you have, Daniel?
One of the simplest ways to start a conversation is by using open-ended questions. Instead of asking questions that can be answered with yes or no, try something like, "What do you think about this event?" This encourages the other person to share their thoughts.
That's a fantastic point. Open-ended questions really help to keep the conversation going. You can also start with a compliment, like, "I love your jacket." "Where did you get it?" This often leads to a friendly exchange.
Absolutely, and if you're in a specific setting, like a party, you might say something like, "How do you know the host?" It's relevant and can lead to a deeper conversation about mutual friends or shared experiences. Once you've started the conversation, how can you keep it flowing, Jennifer?
A great way to keep the conversation going is by actively listening and responding to what the other person says. Show interest by saying things like, "Really? Tell me more about that." This encourages them to share more and keeps the dialogue alive.
Right, and it's also helpful to share a little about yourself in response. For instance, if someone mentions a recent trip, you could say, "That sounds amazing. I visited a similar place last summer and it was incredible." This creates a two-way conversation.
Exactly. Sharing personal stories or experiences makes the conversation more engaging. It helps the other person relate to you, which strengthens your connection. What topics do you think are best for small talk, Daniel?
There are many great topics to choose from. Weather is always a safe choice. Everyone experiences it. You might say, "It's been so hot lately. How have you been dealing with the heat?"
That's a good one. Other topics include current events, movies, or TV shows. For example, you can ask, "Have you seen any good movies lately?" This opens the door for a fun discussion.
And food is another universal topic. You could ask, "What's your favorite restaurant in town?" Everyone enjoys talking about their favorite meals or places to eat.
Now, let's not forget about nonverbal communication. How does that play a role in small talk, Daniel?
Great point, Jennifer. Nonverbal cues are just as important as words. Things like eye contact, smiling, and nodding show that you're engaged in the conversation.
Yes, and your body language can make a big difference too. Facing the person and leaning slightly forward can convey interest and openness, which encourages the other person to open up as well.
Exactly, and remember to be mindful of your tone of voice. A warm and friendly tone can make a huge impact on how your message is received. Sometimes conversations can hit a snag and awkward moments happen. How can we deal with that, Jennifer?
One way to handle awkward moments is by acknowledging them with humor. You might say something light like, "Well, that was an awkward pause. Let's change the subject. Humor can lighten the mood."
Yes, another tactic is to have a few backup topics ready in case the conversation stalls. Having these in mind can help you smoothly transition to another subject, such as asking about upcoming plans.
And if all else fails, it's okay to simply say, "I'm not sure what to say next." How about you? Being honest can break the tension and lead to a new topic.
Lastly, let's talk about the importance of practice. How can listeners practice their small talk skills, Daniel? The best way to improve is by practicing. Look for opportunities to engage in small talk with friends, family, or even new acquaintances. Don't be afraid to start conversations in everyday situations like at the coffee shop or the gym.
That's a great idea. Joining clubs or groups that interest you is another excellent way to meet new people and practice small talk in a comfortable setting.
Absolutely, you can also practice with yourself. Try speaking out loud when you're alone, imagining conversations you might have in real-life situations.
Yes, and remember, the more you practice, the more natural it will feel. Small talk is a skill that gets easier with time and experience.
Jennifer, another interesting aspect of small talk is how it varies across cultures. Can you share your thoughts on that?
Definitely, in some cultures, small talk is a vital part of social interaction, while in others, it may be less common. For example, in the United States, people often engage in small talk even with strangers, while in some European countries, people may prefer to dive straight into deeper topics.
Right. Understanding these differences is crucial, especially if you're traveling or interacting with people from diverse backgrounds. You might find that discussing personal topics too quickly can make others uncomfortable, while light-hearted questions are usually welcome.
Exactly. A safe approach is to start with neutral topics like the weather or current events before gauging the other person's comfort level. This way, you can adapt your conversation style based on their responses. A great way to enhance small talk is by finding common interests. How do you think listeners can identify these, Daniel?
One effective way is to observe the person's environment. For instance, if you're at a coffee shop and you see someone reading a book, you could say, "I noticed you're reading. What's the book about?" This shows that you're attentive and interested in what they're doing.
That's a smart approach. Additionally, you can share a little about yourself first, which invites the other person to do the same. For instance, you might say, "I recently started hiking. Do you enjoy outdoor activities?" This can spark a more engaging conversation.
Exactly, sharing personal experiences can make the conversation feel more like a dialogue rather than an interview. It builds rapport and encourages the other person to share their interests too.
In today's digital age, technology plays a role in how we communicate. How do you think this affects small talk?
Great question, Jennifer. With social media and messaging apps, people often find themselves communicating in shorter formats. This can make small talk feel even more important when you meet face-to-face.
Absolutely. Using platforms like social media can also provide topics for small talk. For example, if you notice a mutual friend has shared a post, you could say, "Did you see that article they posted about travel tips? What did you think?"
Yes, engaging with what's happening online can give you fresh conversation starters and keep the dialogue relevant and current.
Role-playing can be an excellent method for practicing small talk. What are your thoughts on that, Daniel?
I agree. Role-playing with a friend or language partner can help you simulate real-life scenarios. For example, you could practice different small talk situations like meeting someone new at a party or chatting with a colleague during a break.
Exactly. You can even record your practice sessions and listen back to evaluate your tone, pace, and choice of words. This will help you identify areas where you can improve.
And you can also switch roles during practice to see things from the other person's perspective. This can help you develop empathy and understand how to respond more effectively in conversations.
Humor can be a powerful tool in small talk. How can listeners incorporate humor into their conversations?
That's a fantastic point. Using light-hearted jokes or funny anecdotes can break the ice and make conversations more enjoyable. For example, you could say something like, "I tried to cook dinner last night, and let's just say the smoke alarm got a workout."
That's a great example. Humor can help ease tension and create a more relaxed atmosphere. However, it's important to know your audience and use humor that's appropriate for the situation.
Yes, humor is subjective, so keeping it light and non-offensive is key. When in doubt, stick to relatable topics that most people can appreciate.
Eventually, every conversation comes to an end. What's your advice for gracefully closing a small talk conversation, Daniel?
Closing a conversation can be tricky, but it's important to do it politely. You might say something like, "It was great chatting with you. I hope to see you again soon." This leaves the door open for future interactions.
Yes, and you can also suggest a follow-up if appropriate. For example, if you've shared mutual interests, you might say, "I'd love to continue this conversation over coffee sometime. What do you think?"
Exactly, closing on a positive note makes the other person feel valued and appreciated, which can encourage them to engage with you again in the future.
Let's discuss some common mistakes people make during small talk. What do you think, Daniel?
One common mistake is talking too much about yourself without giving the other person a chance to share. It's essential to balance the conversation to ensure both parties feel engaged.
Yes, another mistake is dominating the conversation with heavy topics. Avoid controversial subjects like politics or religion in small talk, as they can make people uncomfortable.
Right, instead, stick to light and neutral topics, especially when you're first getting to know someone. This helps create a friendly atmosphere.
Finally, let's touch on how small talk can help build long-term relationships. What's your take, Daniel?
Small talk is the foundation for deeper connections. By practicing small talk regularly, you create opportunities for friendships and professional networks.
Exactly. As you engage in small talk, you'll discover shared interests and experiences that can evolve into meaningful conversations over time.
Yes, and remember, small talk isn't just a skill for social situations. It's essential in professional environments as well. Establishing rapport with colleagues through small talk can lead to better teamwork and collaboration.
Let's dive into another crucial aspect of small talk, body language. How can it enhance our conversations, Daniel?
Body language plays a significant role in how we communicate. For example, maintaining eye contact shows that you're engaged and interested in the other person. It helps to build a connection right from the start.
Exactly. Nodding your head when someone is speaking is another great way to show you're actively listening. It encourages the other person to continue sharing their thoughts and feelings.
Additionally, your posture matters too. Standing or sitting up straight conveys confidence and openness, making it easier for the other person to engage in conversation.
And let's not forget about facial expressions. A warm smile can make a world of difference, making you appear approachable and friendly. This sets a positive tone for the entire conversation. Small talk can vary greatly depending on the situation. How should our listeners adapt their approach? Daniel?
Great question. In a casual setting, like a party, small talk can be light and fun. You might talk about the music playing or the food being served. It's all about keeping things relaxed and enjoyable.
On the other hand, in a professional setting, like a networking event, small talk may need to be a bit more formal. You could discuss industry trends or recent developments in your field.
Absolutely, being aware of the context allows you to choose the right topics and tone for your conversation. It shows respect for the situation and the people you're engaging with.
Yes, and being adaptable in your approach can make your conversations more meaningful. It demonstrates your ability to navigate different social environments with ease. Let's talk about the importance of listening skills during small talk. Why are they so essential, Daniel?
Listening is a crucial part of any conversation. When you listen actively, you show respect for the other person's thoughts and feelings. It encourages a two-way dialogue rather than a one-sided monologue.
Exactly. When you actively listen, you can pick up on cues that help you steer the conversation in a more engaging direction. For example, if someone mentions a hobby, you can ask follow-up questions that dive deeper into that interest.
And don't forget, acknowledging what the other person says with phrases like, "That's interesting," or "Tell me more about that," can enhance the flow of conversation and make the other person feel valued.
Yes, effective listening also helps you remember details that could be relevant for future conversations, strengthening your connection with that person. Many people feel nervous about making small talk. What advice do you have for overcoming that anxiety, Daniel?
Feeling nervous is entirely normal, especially when talking to new people. One technique is to prepare a few conversation starters ahead of time. For example, you could ask about someone's favorite movies or their weekend plans.
That's a great idea. Having these conversation starters can help you feel more confident when approaching someone new. It's also helpful to remind yourself that most people are friendly and open to chatting.
Absolutely, practicing small talk in low-pressure environments, like with friends or family, can also help build your confidence. The more you practice, the easier it becomes.
Yes, and remember that it's okay to make mistakes. Everyone does it. The key is to learn from them and keep trying. Follow-up questions are vital for keeping a conversation going. How can our listeners effectively use them, Daniel?
Follow-up questions allow you to delve deeper into the topics that interest both you and your conversation partner. For example, if someone mentions they love traveling, you could ask, "What's your favorite destination and why do you love it?"
Exactly. This not only keeps the conversation flowing, but also shows that you're genuinely interested in what the other person is saying. It encourages them to share more and helps you find common ground.
And don't hesitate to share your experiences related to the topic as well. This can lead to a richer conversation where both parties contribute their insights.
Yes, the back-and-forth nature of asking and answering questions is what makes small talk enjoyable and engaging. It fosters a connection between you and the other person. Complimenting someone can be an excellent way to initiate small talk. What's your take on this, Daniel?
Compliments are a great icebreaker. However, it's important to be genuine and specific with your compliments. For example, instead of saying, "I like your outfit," you could say, "That color looks fantastic on you."
Exactly. Specific compliments feel more sincere and meaningful. They can also lead to further conversation, as the other person may share where they bought their outfit or how they chose the colors.
And if you notice something interesting about the person, like a unique accessory, commenting on it can open up a new topic of conversation.
Yes, compliments can also create a positive atmosphere and make both parties feel good about the interaction. Awkward silences can happen during conversations. How can we manage them, Daniel?
It's essential to remember that awkward silences are a natural part of conversations. When they occur, don't panic. You can fill the silence with a light comment or a follow-up question related to what you were discussing.
Exactly. For instance, if you were talking about hobbies and the conversation stalls, you might say, "Speaking of hobbies, I recently tried painting, and it was a lot of fun." This can help reignite the discussion.
Additionally, having a mental list of safe topics can be helpful. If the conversation stalls, you can draw on those topics to keep things moving smoothly.
Yes, keeping the tone light and relaxed helps everyone feel more comfortable, even in those silent moments. Let's explore how small talk can help build a professional network. What are your thoughts on this, Daniel?
Small talk is the foundation for networking. It allows you to connect with colleagues and industry peers in a more personal way. Starting with small talk can create a comfortable environment for discussing more professional topics later on.
Absolutely. At networking events, engaging in small talk can lead to sharing insights about your careers and finding mutual interests. You never know where a simple conversation could lead.
Yes, and don't forget to follow up with people after the initial conversation. Sending a quick message or email referencing your chat can help solidify the connection.
Exactly, building relationships takes time, but small talk is a valuable step in creating a solid professional network. Finally, let's discuss resources our listeners can use to practice their small talk skills. What do you recommend, Daniel?
There are many resources available. Language exchange platforms where you can meet native speakers or fellow learners are great for practicing small talk in a friendly environment.
Absolutely. Additionally, online forums or discussion groups can provide opportunities to engage in conversations on various topics.
Listening to podcasts like ours is another fantastic way to observe how small talk flows in real conversations. You can pick up phrases and techniques to use in your discussions.
Yes, and don't forget about joining clubs or local meetups based on your interests. Engaging in activities you enjoy can lead to natural small talk opportunities. Now, let's talk about cultural differences in small talk. How can these impact conversations, Daniel?
Cultural context is crucial in small talk. In some cultures, people prefer to keep conversations light and non-personal, while in others, they may expect a deeper exchange right from the start. Understanding these nuances helps you navigate conversations more effectively.
That's true. For instance, in some cultures, asking personal questions right away might be considered intrusive, whereas in others, it's a sign of interest and engagement.
Exactly, being aware of these differences not only helps you avoid potential faux pas, but also enables you to adapt your approach according to the other person's comfort level.
Yes, this adaptability can enhance your conversations, making them more enjoyable for both parties and creating a genuine connection. Humor can be a great tool in small talk. How can it be effectively used, Daniel?
Humor can break the ice and create a friendly atmosphere. Sharing a light-hearted joke or funny observation can make the conversation more enjoyable and relatable. However, it's important to gauge your audience first.
Absolutely. What one person finds funny, another might not. So, starting with simple, universally relatable humor, like a funny incident from your day, can be a safe bet.
Yes, humor also shows that you're relaxed and approachable, which encourages the other person to open up as well.
Definitely, just remember, the goal is to enhance the conversation, not to dominate it. Balance is key. Empathy is vital in making small talk meaningful. Why is that, Daniel?
Empathy allows you to connect with the other person on a deeper level. When you show that you understand and share their feelings, it creates a bond and can transform a simple exchange into a more enriching conversation.
Yes, phrases like, I can see why you feel that way, or that sounds really challenging can make a significant difference in how the other person perceives you.
Exactly, being empathetic not only encourages openness, but also invites the other person to share more about themselves, deepening the conversation.
Absolutely. This level of connection can lead to more meaningful interactions and lasting relationships. Let's discuss practical ways to incorporate small talk into daily life. How can our listeners practice regularly, Daniel?
One effective way is to engage with people during routine activities, like chatting with a barista while getting your coffee. Simple comments about the weather or asking for recommendations can be a great start.
Exactly. Even at work, taking a moment to talk to a colleague about their weekend plans or sharing your thoughts on a recent team project can enhance workplace relationships.
Additionally, you can practice small talk with family and friends by incorporating more open-ended questions into your conversations. This encourages dialogue and gives everyone a chance to share their experiences.
Yes, making a conscious effort to engage in small talk every day helps build your confidence and communication skills over time. Making mistakes is part of learning. How should our listeners approach mistakes in small talk, Daniel?
Embracing mistakes is essential for growth. If you misinterpret a cue or make an awkward comment, it's okay. Acknowledge it with a smile and move on. Most people appreciate honesty and will likely laugh it off with you.
Absolutely. It's all about maintaining a positive attitude. Each mistake is an opportunity to learn and improve your conversation skills.
Yes, reflecting on your experiences can help you recognize patterns and areas for improvement, allowing you to approach future conversations with more confidence.
Exactly. This mindset not only reduces the fear of making mistakes, but also fosters resilience in social situations. Finding common interests can enhance small talk significantly. How can listeners identify these interests during conversations, Daniel?
A great strategy is to ask open-ended questions that encourage the other person to share their hobbies and passions. For instance, asking, "What do you enjoy doing in your free time?" can reveal shared interests.
Yes, once they mention an interest, you can build on it by sharing your own experiences related to that topic, creating a natural flow in the conversation.
Exactly. When you discover a shared interest, it creates a deeper connection and makes the conversation more engaging and enjoyable for both parties.
And exploring those shared interests can lead to further discussions, strengthening your relationship over time. Context plays a crucial role in small talk. Can you elaborate on that, Daniel?
Absolutely. The context includes the environment, the people present, and the occasion. For example, small talk at a wedding may focus on how you know the couple, while at a business meeting, it might revolve around industry trends.
Yes, being aware of the context helps you choose appropriate topics and keeps the conversation relevant and engaging.
Additionally, the setting can influence the mood of the conversation. A casual setting allows for more light-hearted topics, while a formal environment may require more professional discussions.
Exactly. Adapting to the context shows social awareness, making you a more effective communicator. Let's discuss how technology can aid in practicing small talk. What tools can our listeners use, Daniel?
There are many apps and websites designed for language learners that offer conversation practice with native speakers. These platforms provide a safe space to practice small talk and receive feedback.
Absolutely. Additionally, social media can serve as a tool for engaging in light conversations. Commenting on friends' posts or participating in discussions in groups can enhance your small talk skills.
Yes, furthermore, watching videos or shows with strong dialogue can help you understand how small talk flows naturally. You can observe phrases, tones, and body language in action.
That's a great point. Utilizing these resources effectively can lead to more confident and fluid conversations in real-life situations. Patience is crucial when learning to make small talk. Can you share your thoughts on this, Daniel?
Definitely, small talk skills take time to develop. It's important to be patient with yourself and understand that improvement comes with practice.
Yes, some days will feel easier than others, and that's perfectly normal. The key is to keep trying and not get discouraged by setbacks.
Exactly. With each interaction, you'll build experience and confidence, making future conversations feel more natural.
Absolutely. Embracing the learning journey can make the process enjoyable rather than stressful. Another effective way to create small talk is by leveraging your surroundings. How can this be done, Daniel?
Utilizing your environment is a great strategy. For instance, if you're at an event, you can comment on the decor or the food. A simple, "This venue is beautiful. Have you been here before?" can open the door to a delightful conversation.
Yes, it's amazing how something as simple as commenting on the atmosphere can lead to shared experiences or opinions about the location, which in turn can generate a lively exchange.
Exactly. Even when you're out in public, small observations like, "I love the colors in this art piece," or "The music here is so upbeat, don't you think?" can create connections based on shared interests.
Absolutely. By being aware of your surroundings, you can effortlessly initiate small talk that feels natural and relevant to the moment, making it more engaging for everyone involved. Role-playing can be an effective tool for practicing small talk. How does that work, Daniel?
Role-playing allows you to simulate conversations in a safe environment. You can partner with a friend or use language apps that offer role-playing scenarios, giving you a chance to practice responses without the pressure of real-life situations.
That's a fantastic idea. By taking on different roles, you can explore various conversational styles and scenarios, helping you prepare for diverse interactions.
Exactly. It helps build your confidence and gives you a chance to experiment with different topics and responses, making you more versatile in your conversational skills.
And after role-playing, reflecting on what went well and what could be improved can further enhance your abilities, allowing you to approach real conversations with greater confidence. Listening is just as important as speaking in small talk. Why do you think that is, Daniel?
Listening allows you to understand the other person's perspective and respond appropriately. It shows that you value their input, which can create a more engaging and meaningful dialogue.
Absolutely. By actively listening, you can pick up on cues that may lead the conversation in new and interesting directions, making it more dynamic.
Yes, also, asking follow-up questions based on what the other person shares shows your interest and encourages them to elaborate, enriching the conversation.
Indeed, this not only helps you maintain the flow of the discussion, but also fosters a sense of connection and trust between you and the other person. Sharing personal anecdotes can really enhance small talk. How should listeners go about this, Daniel?
Personal anecdotes make conversations relatable and engaging. When you share a light-hearted story about your own experiences, it invites the other person to do the same, fostering a more personal connection.
Exactly. For instance, if you're talking about the weather, you might say, "Just last week, I got caught in the rain without an umbrella. It was quite the adventure." This can prompt the other person to share their own stories related to weather or unexpected situations.
Yes, the key is to keep the anecdotes light and relevant to the topic at hand. This ensures that the conversation remains enjoyable without overshadowing the other person's contributions.
Definitely. A well-placed personal story can transform a standard small talk exchange into a more memorable and enjoyable interaction. Body language plays a crucial role in small talk. Can you explain why that is, Daniel?
Absolutely. Body language conveys emotions and attitudes, often speaking louder than words. Maintaining open body language, like uncrossed arms and making eye contact, invites others to engage with you.
Yes, a warm smile or nod can signal your openness to conversation, encouraging the other person to feel more comfortable sharing.
Exactly. On the other hand, negative body language, such as looking at your phone or crossing your arms, can send signals that you're disinterested, even if you're actively participating in the conversation.
That's a great point. Being aware of your own body language, as well as the cues from others, can help you navigate small talk more effectively and create a more inviting atmosphere. Technology offers a great way to practice small talk and connect with others. What are your thoughts on this, Daniel?
Absolutely. Social media platforms and networking apps allow you to connect with people from diverse backgrounds. Engaging with others online can help you practice your small talk skills in a low-pressure setting.
Yes, joining forums or groups related to your interests can lead to discussions that feel more like small talk. Commenting on posts or participating in discussions can be a great way to ease into conversations.
Exactly. Virtual meetups and webinars also provide opportunities to practice small talk in a professional environment, helping you to build your network while enhancing your communication skills.
And don't forget about language exchange apps. They can connect you with native speakers looking to practice their language skills, offering a perfect platform to refine your small talk abilities. Developing a routine for small talk can be beneficial. How can listeners create one, Daniel?
Creating a small talk routine involves setting specific times to engage in conversation. You might decide to start conversations with colleagues during breaks or check in with a neighbor while walking your dog.
Yes, regularly practicing small talk in familiar settings can help reinforce your skills and build confidence over time.
Additionally, setting personal goals for each interaction, such as learning something new about the other person, can keep the conversations fresh and engaging.
Absolutely, and as you become more comfortable with these interactions, you can gradually introduce more challenging social situations, which can further enhance your skills. Getting feedback on your small talk skills can be invaluable. How can this be achieved, Daniel?
Seeking feedback from friends or family after social events can provide insight into your strengths and areas for improvement. They can point out what worked well and what could use some tweaking.
Yes, additionally, reflecting on your conversations afterward can help you identify patterns or mistakes that you can address in future interactions.
Exactly, keeping a small journal where you jot down notes about your experiences can help track your progress and make you more aware of your conversational style.
That's a great tip. Using feedback constructively allows you to continuously refine your approach to small talk, making you a more confident and effective communicator. Celebrating small wins in your small talk journey is important. Why do you think that is, Daniel?
Recognizing and celebrating your achievements, no matter how small, can boost your confidence and motivation. Whether it's initiating a conversation or successfully keeping a dialogue going, acknowledging these moments can reinforce positive behavior.
Yes, every successful interaction is a step toward mastering small talk, and reflecting on these successes can remind you of your growth.
Exactly, it's easy to focus on areas that need improvement, but highlighting your progress keeps the journey enjoyable and encourages you to keep practicing.
Absolutely, by celebrating these moments, you'll build a more positive mindset, making the process of learning and improving even more fulfilling. Embracing diversity can enrich your small talk experiences. How can listeners incorporate this into their conversations, Daniel?
Engaging with people from various backgrounds can introduce you to different perspectives and experiences. Asking about cultural traditions or practices during conversations can lead to insightful discussions.
Yes, this not only broadens your understanding of the world, but also makes your small talk more engaging and interesting.
Exactly, celebrating diversity helps create a more inclusive environment and fosters connections based on mutual respect and curiosity.
And it makes conversations more dynamic, allowing for a richer exchange of ideas and experiences, which is always beneficial for personal growth. Cultivating a curious mindset is essential for making small talk. How can our listeners do this, Daniel?
Being genuinely curious about others encourages deeper conversations. Ask questions that reflect your interest in the other person's experiences and opinions. This shows that you value their perspective.
Yes, curiosity leads to more meaningful exchanges, transforming a simple small talk into a thought-provoking discussion.
Exactly. When you approach conversations with curiosity, you're more likely to discover common interests and shared experiences, which can enhance the connection between you and the other person.
And this inquisitive nature makes conversations more enjoyable and fulfilling for everyone involved, creating a positive social atmosphere. Choosing the right topics for small talk is crucial. What should listeners consider when selecting topics, Daniel?
When selecting topics, it's essential to consider your audience and the setting. For instance, at a formal event, discussing current events or the host can be more appropriate, while casual gatherings allow for lighter topics like hobbies or recent movies.
Yes, tailoring your topics to fit the context and the people involved makes the conversation more relevant and enjoyable. If you're at a networking event, discussing professional interests can help you make valuable connections.
Exactly, you should also consider the interests of the person you're talking to. If they mention a hobby or interest, you can use that as a springboard for deeper discussion, turning a simple conversation into a more engaging dialogue.
Definitely, and being adaptable is key. If you sense that a topic isn't resonating, don't hesitate to shift gears and explore something else. This adaptability helps maintain a positive atmosphere and keeps the conversation flowing smoothly. Timing can significantly influence small talk. How can listeners be mindful of this, Daniel?
Being aware of timing involves recognizing when to engage and when to step back. For example, if someone seems preoccupied or rushed, it might not be the best moment for small talk. Respecting personal space and time is crucial in these situations.
Absolutely. On the flip side, initiating small talk at a relaxed moment, like during a break at work or while waiting in line can create a more favorable environment for conversation.
Yes, moreover, reading the room is essential. If everyone is deep in conversation, waiting for a natural pause can provide the perfect opportunity to join in and contribute your thoughts.
And remember that a well-timed compliment or observation can spark an engaging conversation, especially if it resonates with the other person's current mood or situation. Open-ended questions can be game changers in small talk. Why is that, Daniel?
Open-ended questions invite the other person to elaborate rather than giving short, one-word answers. For instance, instead of asking, "Did you like the movie?" you might ask, "What did you think about the movie's ending?" This prompts a more detailed response.
Exactly. Open-ended questions not only encourage a deeper conversation, but also demonstrate your interest in the other person's thoughts and feelings. This makes the exchange feel more genuine and engaging.
Plus, these types of questions can lead to unexpected topics and shared experiences, making the conversation flow naturally. They also give the other person the freedom to steer the conversation in a direction that excites them.
And remember, showing enthusiasm about their response can help maintain a lively conversation and encourage them to share even more. Following up after an initial conversation can be beneficial. How can listeners approach this, Daniel?
Following up shows that you valued the conversation and are interested in maintaining the connection. A simple message or email referencing something you discussed can keep the dialogue going.
Yes, for instance, if you talked about a movie, you could say, "Hey, I watched that movie we talked about, and I loved it. What did you think of the ending?" This not only reinforces the bond, but also gives you another topic to explore.
Exactly, following up after a networking event can also solidify connections. Sending a LinkedIn request with a personalized message referencing your conversation can make a memorable impression.
And remember, a little effort goes a long way. It can turn a fleeting encounter into a meaningful relationship, enriching your social interactions even further. Lastly, practice is key to mastering small talk. How can listeners incorporate practice into their daily lives, Daniel?
Practicing small talk doesn't always require a formal setting. You can start with friends or family, intentionally incorporating small talk into your daily interactions. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll become.
Absolutely. Even casual chats with cashiers or neighbors can serve as practice opportunities. A simple greeting or question about their day can keep the skills sharp.
Yes, additionally, consider joining clubs or groups where socializing is encouraged. Engaging with others who share your interests can create a supportive environment for practicing small talk.
And remember to reflect on your experiences afterward. Assess what went well and what you could improve, allowing you to continuously enhance your skills and grow as a conversationalist. Language barriers can be challenging in small talk. What tips do you have for listeners, Daniel?
If you're still learning English, it's okay to make mistakes. Don't let the fear of incorrect grammar or vocabulary hold you back. Focus on expressing your thoughts clearly, even if your language isn't perfect.
Yes, people appreciate the effort you put into speaking their language. If you don't know a specific word, try paraphrasing or describing it. This demonstrates your willingness to communicate effectively. A comfortable environment can enhance small talk. How can listeners foster this, Daniel?
Creating a comfortable environment starts with being approachable. Your demeanor, tone of voice, and friendliness can help set the stage for a positive conversation.
Absolutely. Also, choosing the right location can make a difference. A quiet cafe or a relaxed social gathering can provide a more conducive atmosphere for small talk compared to loud, crowded places.
Yes, pay attention to the context as well. A relaxed setting encourages casual interactions, while formal situations may require a more structured approach. Understanding this can help you navigate the conversation better.
And if you're hosting, ensuring that everyone feels included and comfortable can encourage more interaction. Making introductions and facilitating discussions can help break the ice and foster a friendly atmosphere. Sometimes silence is part of a conversation. How should listeners approach this, Daniel?
Embracing silence can be powerful. Instead of rushing to fill every gap with words, allow moments of silence to exist. This can give both parties time to reflect and formulate their thoughts.
Exactly. It's normal for conversations to have pauses. These moments can be an opportunity for both individuals to think about what they want to say next. This can lead to more meaningful responses.
Yes, if you find yourself in a pause, don't panic. Use that time to take a breath and consider your next question or comment. It shows confidence and comfort in the conversation.
And remember, if the silence becomes uncomfortable, you can always steer the conversation back by asking a lighthearted question or sharing an interesting observation. Listening is as important as speaking in small talk. What skills should listeners develop, Daniel?
Being a good listener means giving the other person your full attention. This involves not only hearing their words, but also understanding their emotions and intentions. Nodding or using affirming phrases shows that you're engaged.
Absolutely, active listening encourages the other person to share more. When they see you're genuinely interested, they're likely to open up and delve deeper into the conversation.
Plus, reflecting on what they say can be a great technique. For instance, you can summarize their points or ask clarifying questions. This demonstrates that you value their perspective and want to keep the dialogue going.
Great point. And being a good listener also means avoiding distractions, like checking your phone. Putting it away during a conversation shows respect and enhances the overall connection. So, to wrap up today's episode on making small talk in English, we've explored various strategies to improve your conversational skills, including the importance of body language, choosing the right topics, and embracing silence.
Absolutely. Remember, small talk is an art that anyone can master with practice and patience. Engaging in these conversations not only enhances your language skills, but also builds connections with others.
We hope you found these tips helpful and that you feel more confident in your ability to engage in small talk. Practice makes perfect, and every interaction is an opportunity to learn and grow.
Thank you for tuning in. Remember to join us next time for more engaging discussions that will help you improve your English skills. Happy talking!
One effective way to keep small talk going is by asking follow-up questions. How can listeners implement this in their conversations, Daniel?
Follow-up questions show that you are genuinely interested in what the other person is saying. After they share something, ask them to elaborate. For example, if they mention a recent trip, you could say, "What was your favorite part of that trip?" This not only encourages them to share more, but also keeps the conversation flowing.
Yes, follow-up questions can take the conversation to deeper levels. They can reveal more about the other person's interests, experiences, and feelings. It makes them feel valued and heard.
Exactly. Try to listen for key points they mention and build on those. If they talk about a new hobby, ask how they got into it or what challenges they faced. This shows you are paying attention and care about their responses.
And remember, it's important to balance follow-up questions with sharing your own experiences. This creates a natural back and forth, making the conversation feel more like a dialogue rather than an interview. Discovering common interests can significantly enhance small talk. How can listeners find these shared topics, Daniel?
A great way to identify common interests is by starting with broad topics. For instance, asking someone about their favorite movies, music, or books can often lead to exciting conversations. You might discover you both love the same genre or artist, which can spark a deeper dialogue.
Exactly. Once you find a shared interest, you can delve deeper into that topic. For example, if you both enjoy traveling, you could share your favorite destinations and experiences, and even ask for recommendations. This not only enriches the conversation, but also makes it more enjoyable.
Yes, when you discuss shared interests, it naturally fosters a sense of connection and camaraderie. People tend to feel more comfortable and open when discussing topics they are passionate about, which can lead to longer and more engaging conversations.
And if you're unsure about common interests, don't hesitate to ask. You can say something like, "What hobbies do you enjoy?" This invites the other person to share their passions, which can pave the way for further exploration of topics that excite both of you. Practicing small talk with friends can be beneficial. How can listeners make the most of these opportunities, Daniel?
Practicing with friends allows you to experiment in a safe environment. You can create scenarios where you both engage in small talk, perhaps pretending to meet for the first time. This can help you become more comfortable with initiating conversations and responding naturally.
Absolutely. You might also challenge each other to discuss specific topics or themes. For example, pick a subject like travel or food and see how long you can keep the conversation going. This practice can help enhance your vocabulary and fluency in those areas.
And providing constructive feedback is key. After your practice sessions, take turns sharing what you liked about each other's conversations and areas for improvement. This feedback can be invaluable in building your confidence and skills.
Great point. Plus, you could record your practice sessions to listen back later. This will help you identify your strengths and weaknesses, giving you specific areas to focus on. Social media can also be a great tool for practicing small talk. What are some ways listeners can use it effectively, Daniel?
Social media platforms offer numerous opportunities for informal conversations. For instance, you can join groups or forums related to your interests and engage in discussions. Commenting on posts or responding to others' comments is a practical way to practice your conversational skills in a written format.
Yes, engaging in comments can lead to further discussions. If someone shares a post about a recent event or experience, you could ask a follow-up question to keep the conversation alive, even if it's online.
Additionally, platforms like language exchange apps can connect you with people who want to practice English. You can set up conversations where you both take turns speaking, which can simulate real-life interactions.
And don't forget about video calls. Using apps like Zoom or Skype for casual conversations with friends or language partners can help you practice speaking in real time, which is crucial for developing your skills. Small talk can vary significantly based on the context. How should listeners adapt their approach in different situations, Daniel?
Understanding the context is essential for effective small talk. In formal settings, such as work events or conferences, it's important to maintain a professional tone. Discussing work-related topics or current industry trends can be appropriate.
Absolutely. On the other hand, casual settings, like social gatherings or parties, allow for a more relaxed approach. You might discuss hobbies, favorite shows, or recent events, making the conversation more lighthearted and fun.
Yes, additionally, being aware of the atmosphere can guide your choice of topics. For instance, if the event is celebratory, sharing positive experiences can enhance the mood. Conversely, during a more somber event, showing empathy and discussing serious topics may be more suitable.
And remember, adapting your language is also important. Using informal phrases and slang in casual settings can make you sound more relatable, while maintaining a clearer and more structured language in formal settings demonstrates professionalism. Thank you for joining us in this episode on making small talk in English. We hope you found our tips helpful and feel more confident in your conversations.
Remember, practice is key, so keep engaging with others and exploring new topics. Don't hesitate to reach out to us with your thoughts or questions.
We look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Until then, keep practicing and enjoy your English learning journey.
Happy speaking!